So Donald Trump has said that he wants to lower corporate tax rates from 35% to 15%. Is that something that is realistic?
Well, sure. If you're willing to add to the deficit, anything is, in the world of the doable. The House Republican blueprint would go from the current 35 to 20. They would have a special rate at 25% for pass-through businesses. So 20 would be the corporate rate, 25 for pass-throughs. And they have, although we've not seen a formal score from the official scorekeepers in Congress, they have described their proposal, and they have data to back this up, that on balance, when you factor in the economic growth effects of the policy, that their proposal is revenue neutral. So you don't even necessarily have to do it in a way that adds to the deficit if, and this is an important if you are willing to count the sort of macroeconomic feedback effects of the policy, a faster growing economy that throws off more revenue. If you're willing to count those additional revenues that the faster growing economy creates, it would appear that you might be able to do this in a way that is revenue neutral. Maybe not to 15%, but 20% certainly seems to be in the realm.
So it's possible that even with these big tax cuts, the deficit doesn't change.
It is entirely possible, yes. Now that, I think, will require some assumption about economic growth. The science, the modeling has gotten much better. House Republicans for years have thought that factoring in the economic feedback effects of the policy is the right way, the more accurate way to measure the effects of policy. Historically, Democrats have been a little reluctant to adopt that methodology, but now with Republicans in control of both the House, the Senate, and a president who might be willing to consider that revenue as legitimate revenue for counting purposes, this may be the order of the day.
Right. But if you don't count that, deficit does go up, revenues do go down.
Potentially, yes. I mean, look, you can write the policy to hit whatever number you're trying to hit. So if you're willing to do it in a way where you count the macroeconomic revenue to hit whatever number you're trying to hit, or neutrality, you could do it that way. If you decide, or if the political consensus is such that the macroeconomic revenues should not count, or should not be counted towards some neutrality principle, then you write the policy in a different way. Of course, it's harder to get to 20% if you're not counting the macroeconomic revenues, but those are policy choices that policymakers will have to make, and that, I suspect, will be the object of some of the negotiation.
Okay, so my last question, what else should we know about Donald Trump's tax plan?
Well, he talked about it some. It was clearly not the driving force in the campaign, but you have a Speaker of the House who's the kind of guy that stays up at night thinking about tax policy and tax reform. So this is, I think, high on the Republican agenda. It would appear that Donald Trump, this is something that he would like to do. As I think about his domestic policy priorities generally, this seems the most easily achievable in the near term. And so it wouldn't surprise me to see this as one of the first 100-day type things that the administration tries to prosecute as it takes power in 2017.